Hey guys, for today's lesson, it's lesson 5. We're going to talk about right triangle trig. I really hate that we're not going to be able to really get into trig because it's probably my favorite thing to teach. But I do at least want to give y'all some information on it. So we're going to start with right triangle trig. This should be a review. Y'all should have seen some of this in geometry. So right triangles have 3 sides and one right angle. The right angle is 90 degrees and it's labeled with a little box in the angle. So these are the 3 main trig functions. We have sine, cosine, and tangent. Sine is defined as the opposite side over the hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent side over hypotenuse. Tangent is the opposite side over the adjacent side. For our angle, we're going to use theta. Theta is a variable. It's a Greek letter. It's just like x. It represents just a measure of an angle that we don't know. So you get into like a lot of Greek letters when we get into trig. So, all right. So let me just show y'all some examples. All right. So if we look at this example over here, so the first thing that I do is I find theta, and then I'm going to label the sides, okay? So, like, theta is here. So we have an adjacent side, an opposite side, and a hypotenuse, okay? So we can start with the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always this side across from the right angle. So here's your right angle. So the side across here, this is going to be your hypotenuse, okay? So theta is here. So the word adjacent is like right beside something. Like if somebody lives in the house adjacent to you, it is the house next door. So this is going to be our adjacent side because it is right beside theta. Theta is always made up of the adjacent side and the hypotenuse, but the adjacent and the opposite sides will change in the triangle depending on what angle you're talking about. When we're talking about this angle, this is the side beside it, so this is going to be our adjacent side. And our opposite side is literally on the opposite side of the triangle from theta, so this is going to be our opposite side. So now we're just going to set up ratios based on the definitions of the 3 functions. So our sine is made up of our opposite side over our hypotenuse. So we're just going to plug in those sides. So our opposite, we said, is 24 over our hypotenuse, which is 25. We would reduce that if we could, take out any common factors, but we can't. So this is going to be the sine of theta for this problem. Okay, so the cosine of theta is made up of the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. So our adjacent side is 7 over our hypotenuse, which is 25. There are no common factors except for 1, so we are done with that. And then tangent is the opposite side over the adjacent side. So here's theta, opposite side is 24 over our adjacent side, which is 7. So that is going to be the answer for that one. Okay, so now let's look at this next one. So our theta is now here. So we're always going to start with a hypotenuse across from our right angle. So this is going to be our hypotenuse. But now, since we're talking about this angle, our adjacent side is going to be this one because it is next to this angle. So this is our adjacent side now. And then across from theta, this is going to be our opposite side. Okay? So now we're just going to do like we did here, but with these numbers and these sides. So sine of theta is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So theta, our opposite side is 15 over our hypotenuse, which is 17. There's no common factors, so that is the sine of theta. So cosine of theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. Here's theta. Our adjacent side is 8 over our hypotenuse, which is 17. No common factors in 8 and 17, so that's as simplified as we can get. And then tangent of theta is opposite over adjacent. So theta's here. Our opposite side is 15 over our adjacent side is 8. And that's simplified. Also, that's as simplified as we can get. Okay, so now we're going to do one. It's the same process. It's just we have variables in it, but that's not going to change anything as far as how we set up the ratios. Okay, so let's identify our sides. Across from our right angle, this is our hypotenuse. Here's theta. So our adjacent side is this side right here, right? Because it is beside theta. And on the opposite side of the triangle, we have this side. So this is our opposite side. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So our opposite side is x plus 1 over our hypotenuse, which is 5x. There's nothing we can simplify here because there's no x here. If there was, we'd be able to take out an x, but there's nothing we can do, so that's going to be as simplified as we can get. All right, so cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So here's theta. Our adjacent side is x over our hypotenuse is 5x, so 5x. So now we do have a common factor of an x and an x here, right? So if we take out x from x, we're left with 1, not 0, okay? We're left with 1. If we take out an x here, we're just left with 5, so this will be 1 over 5. That'll be the final answer for that one. Okay, so then tangent is opposite over adjacent. So our opposite side is x plus 1 over our adjacent side is x. And that's as simplified as we can get because we don't have common factors in all three terms. So that's all for that one. All right, so now let's do the same thing for this example. So here is theta. Our hypotenuse never changes. It's always across from our right angle. Our adjacent side is next to theta, so it'll be this side here. And our opposite side is on the opposite side of the triangle. All right, so sine of theta is opposite over hypotenuse. So theta is this angle here. Opposite is 9 over our hypotenuse, which is x plus 2. There are no common factors in all three of these terms. So that'll be as simplified as we can get that one. And then cosine of theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. So theta is here. Our adjacent side is 4x over our hypotenuse, which is x plus 2. Again, there are no common factors that we can take out of all three terms, so that is going to be as simplified as we can get for the cosine. Now let's look at tangent of theta. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. All right, so theta is here. Our opposite side is 9 over our adjacent side is 4x. No common factors, so that's as simplified as we can get. So that is all. That's all your homework's going to be, just setting up trig functions and then simplifying them. I'm going to put this video and then some more examples on Canvas for you to look at. So just let me know if y'all have any questions. I hope y'all are all doing well. Bye.